on my way to Niagara Falls State Park, riding the 5.5 miles from my hotel I'm staying at Niagara Falls City's eastern side. On the way, I check out some of the city's commercial and residential zones before reaching the more touristy downtown. This city has a population of close to 50,000, half from its peak in the 1960s. This contraction was due to the 1980s Rust Belt's heavy industrial decline that so many cities suffered from in the states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and the New England states. The reason for this deindustrialization is due to automation, the transfer of manufacturing overseas, and the overall decline of the coal and steel industries. Thankfully, the city of Niagara Falls is one of the most spectacular sites to visit in North America, drawing around 8 million annual visitors to experience this powerful natural splendor. Niagara Falls are made up of 3 distinct waterfalls named Horseshoe, American, and Bridal Veil. The water comes from Lake Erie, the 4th largest of the 5 Great Lakes of North America and the 11th largest in the world. The water flows into the Niagara River from Lake Erie, and after dropping more than 160 feet, it drains into Lake Ontario. These 3 falls combined have the highest flow rate of any waterfall in North America, with a peak of 6 million cubic feet per minute. I start my tour visiting the 2 smaller falls, Bridal Veil and American. These 2 are situated on the American side and are separated by Luna Island, where I first experienced their impressive, powerful nature. The smallest, Bridal Veil, is on the southern edge of Luna Island, and after watching this relatively narrow falls in awe, I quickly walked a short distance to the northern end of the island, where I get blown away by the overwhelming spectacle that is the American Falls. After a while, and having taken in the beauty of the 2 smaller falls, I ride south over Goat Island, which separates the 2 smaller falls from the largest and most impressive of the 3. Horseshoe Falls, also known as the Canadian Falls, demarcates the international border of the 2 countries. Right away, I noticed a striking beast, and it's evident by pure sight that it's the largest of the 3 by a significant margin. 90% of the water from the Niagara River flows over Horseshoe Falls, forcing misty, billowing air, creating this most dramatic natural panorama. There's only one thing left to go see, if I can do it, if the line's not too long. And it's this observation deck. You can see the falls really good from, so I'm gonna go check it out. Riding back over the Niagara River on Goat River Road, I make my way to the northern side of the American Falls, where I get a different perspective from the Prospect Point Observation Tower. Constructed from aluminum, glass, and steel and at 282 feet in elevation, one can look into the falls at a more direct angle from its deck. I spent most of my time here as it was the most impressive way to experience all 3 falls from the United States side. Well, that was pretty spectacular. They're super powerful. Just amazing. I'm in awe. I'm filled with excitement from watching the entire process there. Niagara Falls right now. I spent a couple of days here longer than I wanted to, but they were good for rest and for me to work on the computer. But I'm psyched to head south now and towards Allegheny National Forest. Here's about when things got interesting for me this summer. As I leave Niagara Falls City behind, I make a decision about my route forwards that I probably should have pondered and researched more in depth. But as usual, I went with my gut feeling and leaned on the more adventurous choice. My original plan was to skirt along the more flat-grounded Lake Erie southern shore all the way to Detroit, Michigan. When researching this route, I noticed that the state of Pennsylvania touched Lake Erie on its northwestern corner for about 50 miles. That meant that I would have only seen and learned from this state for less than one day's worth, and the thought of only seeing this much of Pennsylvania ate at my conscience long enough to make up my mind about a change in plans. Some homemade jams. Apricot. So I decided not to go west anymore and instead south into Pennsylvania, where I could ride through the Allegheny National Forest and along the Allegheny River to the city of Pittsburgh. From there I would hop onto the Great Allegheny Passage Trail to Mount Davis, the highest mountain in the state of Pennsylvania, before turning west again, riding through West Virginia and into Ohio. Well, this only took 10 of the most arduous days of my tour, as Pennsylvania has non-stop steep mountains and hills. For now, I'm completely unaware of the huge task at hand in the coming week. I enjoy the sights along the Niagara River, stopping at Gratwick Waterfront Park in the city of North Tonawanda, where I entertain myself watching this powerboat being launched and taken off into the distance.
All these things so that lights will change.
And what do you call these things?
Electric unicycles.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
All right, I'll video you guys taking
care.
off.
Good luck.
See you. Be safe. The boating community along the Niagara River coming into the city of Buffalo surprised me. It reminded me of my home state of Florida and the magnitude of boating that you see happen in cities like Miami. Everywhere you look, there are marinas back to back filled with hundreds of boats of all kinds and sizes ready to cruise up and down this colorful river. Once I reach the city of Tonawanda, I hop onto the 60-mile-long Shoreline Trail Riverwalk Trail, which runs along the Niagara River all the way to the city of Buffalo. This trail did not disappoint, with plenty of scenery and a multitude of people enjoying all kinds of different activities. As I ride into the northern end of Buffalo, I reach the mouth of the Niagara River at the eastern end of Lake Erie. It is here that Peace Bridge connects the city of Buffalo to Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. This close to 6,000-foot international bridge was built in 1927 to commemorate the 100 years of peace between the United States and Canada. It is one of the busiest border crossings between the two countries, with over 1 million annual trucks driving over it. With some time to spare, I take the time to play with my camera and record crossing over Interstate 190 on the Shoreline Trail Bridge. Buffalo, with a population of about 300,000, is the second largest city in the state of New York and the 76th largest city in the nation. Known as the City of Good Neighbors, Buffalo was a booming center for trade and manufacturing with the opening of the Erie Canal in 1825. At the start of the 20th century, with the advent of hydroelectric generation, it became the world's leading grain port and national flour milling hub. This hydroelectric power also gave Buffalo the nickname City of Lights, as it was one of the first United States cities to have electric street lamps. Next, I stop at Veterans Park to check out naval ships at the Buffalo Naval Park before continuing on and running into a large group of partying cyclists. Man, I'm missing out. I could have like a whole team. Riding over the Buffalo River over this bridge on South Park Avenue leads me to the city of Lackawanna. This city was once known for having the largest steel plant in the world during the early 20th century, the Lackawanna Steel Company. I pass the Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens and this beautiful church, Our Lady of Victory National Shrine and Basilica, and keep heading south and soon after stop for a quick lunch at a grocery store. Well, my belly's full of potatoes and Kaiser roll. It was actually pretty good. I'm ready to get back on the road. Once again, I let hunger get the best of me and end up overeating. This makes my cycling suffer at first as it slows me down and makes me feel tired. The flip side of eating midway through my day is that with some passing time, this fuel will help me finish my day. Feeling a little bit sluggish after lunch. It'll take like 20 minutes or so before I feel the effect of eating, actually. That's why I try sometimes not to eat, because it slows me down, or not eat a lot. Definitely left the city behind. Hardly any traffic on this road. It's becoming way more scenic with a more lush landscape and a giant shoulder. Nobody around, and I see hills coming. The cities are now behind me and I start seeing more nature as I head south. I'm riding on Boston State Road where I'm stopped by these two future entrepreneurs selling the most delicious iced tea and lemonade.
Decked out, he's a traveler, huh?
Yes.
I am. Yeah. I just stopped for lemonade. These girls hooked me up with a tea and lemonade for $1.50. I give them a 50-cent tip. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
How beautiful is it around here? It's so forested. This is the third Boston town or city or place that I've been at on this trip. My aim today is the village of Springville, where I'll be looking to spend the night at a hotel. Several picturesque towns and their roadside homes entertain me as I continue pedaling on. The further south I ride, the more scenic the landscape becomes, and I finally start riding up and down some light graded hills. Short little climbs and drops. They're really fun because you don't really do either one that long. This latter part of this one day is the actual beginning of close to 2 weeks riding the nasty graded Appalachian mountains and hills of northwestern New York and western Pennsylvania. These days ahead of me are some of the most memorable of my recently discovered bicycle touring life. I was tested in every which way, connecting me with this amazing, beautiful part of the country in ways I never imagined. I ride into Springville and take a quick look around its main street and grab some to-go dinner before heading over to the only hotel in town. From my hotel room window, I stare at the night sky past these golden arches, wondering what my coming days would bring.